Welcome to day 3 of my holiday card series. If this is your first visit, welcome. It's nice to see new faces drop by. Please make yourself at home, and I invite you to check out more of my content. If you are returning, thank you for being here. I'm always happy to see my crafty friends. Now that you are here, please remember to smash those like and subscribe buttons. By hitting that little bell, you'll get notified every time I post a new video, and you'll never miss out on any of the crafty goodness. Today's card is a no stamping card. You guys, I'm such a messy crafter. When the craft tornado hits, it's usually of epic proportion. Even my poor cat has supplies clinging to her. Maybe I shouldn't admit to that, but I'm counting on this being a no judgment zone. On the days I finish cleaning, I try to stay away from the tools I've just put away. I made this card using several different dies, including the Dancin Snowman etch dies from Spellbinders. This is a fun little set that actually makes a dancing little snowman, but I opted for just using the head for my card today. Let's jump right into it. To start off, I actually created a textured background using strips of different colored cardstock. Wanted to create a candy cane feel, so I chose colors in the red and pink family, as well as a sparkling white cardstock. This is my favorite glitter cardstock from Recollections called Snow, and this is an older piece. I say this because this cardstock originally was made from a pure white glitter, and the new version of it is more of a holographic glitter that has a rainbow sheen to it. The new version is pretty, but I prefer the pure white look. I'm on the hunt for a new glitter cardstock with the pure white look to it. So if you know one, drop me a line in the comments below. I'd so appreciate it. Now, to create this background, I first put adhesive on the back of my scraps of paper. I found that glue sometimes seeped out from under my strips, and I didn't really like that look, so I started using double-sided adhesive as an alternative. Now, you can totally use glue. However, I'll show you why I prefer using the tape to glue later as we put the background together. I used my scoring tool to help me get my edges aligned. I simply took my double-sided adhesive, peeled a small portion of the release tape from one side, and placed that corner against the edge of my scoring tool with the sticky side up. Then I took my cardstock and placed it over the exposed sticky part, and making sure both the adhesive and the paper were pressed against the corner so the two would line up properly. Once the small section is in place, I pulled the rest of the backing from the adhesive and smoothed the adhesive out against the cardstock. Next, I went ahead and used my small guillotine trimmer to cut my scraps into strips. I cut them into two sizes, about 1/4 of an inch and a 1/8 of an inch. When I was done with that, I quickly laid out a pattern for myself. Since the glitter cardstock was so striking and I had a limited supply, I decided to use larger strips of it less frequently as the other colors. When I'm doing these backgrounds, I usually make diagonal stripes. This takes away any worry about trying to make things straight. Now, you could do this pattern more random, which would look fine, but since I was so exact, I wanted to keep the spacing as precise as possible. To do that, I used a spacer strip. First, I placed a white glitter strip down. Remember, it has that double-sided adhesive on it, so we're not using the glue. Then I lined it with another color on both sides. As I moved across the paper, I used one of the thinner strips as my spacer, and this is why I like using double-sided adhesive better than glue. In the past, that spacer strip would get a little messy and sometimes get stuck because of the glue that would seep from under the other strips. That made doing this technique a little tricky. You can still use glue, but just keep in mind that using a smaller amount might be easier. I also went ahead and trimmed down the hanging over pieces. I found that trimming it made it easier to move the panel around while I was working on it. But you can definitely do this at the end. And using larger scissors is definitely a lot easier than a pair of snips like I did. After my background was done, I moved on to my snowman. I die cut the pieces from the same colors as I used in the background. I layered the color pieces with some white cardstock to add a little bit more stability to some of the pieces. I also popped out my snowman's facial features, and I intended to use them, but unfortunately after a few minutes, the small pieces were lost to the craft room. I set my snowman aside and popped up my panel on some foam tape and mounted it to my card base. Then I attached a scalloped circle with a layered center to act as a backing for the snowman. I went back to my snowman and finished his features. I die cut a second face and I used markers to color in the little bits. I lined the back of the opening in my snowman's head with a scrap piece of cardstock so that the little bits wouldn't fall through. For a sentiment, I used one of my previously heat foiled Happy Holidays. Foiling a bunch of these ahead of time really saves me on having to take out all my crafting gadgets. I layered that sentiment up with a few die cut layers for a little bit of added dimension. I attached my snowman using foam tape and then my sentiment using liquid glue. I added some shimmer to my snowman using a glitter pen, and then for a final touch, I added a few gems for more sparkle. And that's it for this card. I love how the background turned out. It has such a fun texture. What do you think? Please leave me your comments below. I love hearing from you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you have a great day and life treats you kindly. I'll see you next time for day 4 of the series. Bye.